All right, let's dive in. Today we're looking at planetary citizens,
Okay.
and more specifically, their Citi-Zen project.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's all on their website. This kind of blend of like philosophy and sustainability,
Okay.
and they even bring in a little bit of AI too.
AI.
Yeah,
Wow.
poking around on there, and it's pretty fascinating stuff.
Sounds like it.
And I'm really excited to break it all down with our expert today,
Happy to be here.
who, by the way, is amazing at making sense of, well, complicated ideas.
Well, I do enjoy a good challenge.
So the Citi-Zen thing,
Yeah.
it's not just like a basic chatbot, right?
No, not at all.
From what I gathered, it's more like...
It's more like a companion.
Yeah.
It's designed to, really walk you through some deep questions
Okay.
about how we live, how we connect with our planet.
I like that.
Yeah.
And one thing that really caught my eye was this whole idea of harvesting the past.
Interesting.
It sounds kind of poetic, but I wasn't totally sure what it meant, practically speaking.
So think about something like permaculture.
Okay.
It's a system for sustainable living, right?
Right.
And it takes inspiration from these natural ecosystems.
I see.
But it also uses modern technology, science.
So it's not just about...
It's not about romanticizing the past.
Gotcha.
It's about taking those time-tested principles, things that have worked for centuries.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and seeing how we can apply them today.
Yeah, and seeing how we can apply them today.
So that's kind of how this harvesting works.
That's the idea.
But where does Citi-Zen fit into all this?
Okay, so imagine this.
Okay.
You've got this AI companion,
Yeah.
and it's been fed this incredible library of knowledge,
Wow.
like ancient texts, indigenous wisdom,
Okay.
scientific research, even art.
It's a lot of information.
And it uses all that knowledge
Yeah.
to help you reflect on your own assumptions,
Okay.
to see connections between ideas that might seem completely separate.
So it's not just about like spitting out facts and figures.
No, it's more about helping you think.
Exactly. It's about prompting you to think more deeply about the big questions.
I see.
And they use these really interesting conversation starters to kind of get things going.
Conversations?
Yeah, they have 5 initial prompts on their website.
Oh, wow.
And just reading through those, it had me thinking for hours.
You got to share a couple of those with us. What kind of questions is this AI asking?
Okay, so one that really struck me was, what assumptions about human nature and society are we taking for granted that may be limiting our problem solving?
Ooh, that's a good one. Like, it gets to the heart of how we approach problems,
Yeah, and how our unexamined beliefs might be holding us back.
Yeah, it's so easy to get stuck in our own ways of thinking.
It really is.
I bet this AI could really shake things up, make you question some of your deepest beliefs.
It definitely has that potential.
So what was another one of those prompts?
This one was interesting. How might we shift from a scarcity mindset to one of abundance and regeneration?
Wow, that one's powerful.
Yeah, it really challenges us to rethink our relationship with resources.
I see.
And to consider, how we might create a more sustainable future.
It's like a totally different way of looking at the world.
Yeah, it shifts the whole framework.
It's prompts, they're like, I don't know, philosophical grenades or something.
Yeah.
You don't just answer them.
You really have to wrestle with them.
And I guess that's where the real learning happens, right?
That's the idea. They even incorporate the Socratic method into the AI.
The Socratic method.
Yeah, using questions to lead you to a deeper understanding.
I see.
It's like having your own personalized philosophy tutor right there in your pocket.
So they've got the deep thinking covered.
Yeah.
But what about taking action? How do they bridge the gap between philosophy and, actually making a difference in the world?
Well, they have a whole section on their website called Planetary Citizenship in Practice.
Okay, so it's not all just theoretical.
No, they get into the practical stuff.
That's good to hear.
Yeah, it's full of resources, suggestions for how to actually live out these principles.
Interesting.
Yeah, everything from mindful consumption to community engagement.
So it's not just about changing your mindset. It's about aligning your actions with your beliefs.
Precisely.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, and they really emphasize that there's no one-size-fits-all approach. It's about finding what resonates with you. And taking action from a place of authenticity.
Taking action from a place of authenticity.
Yeah, finding your own way to contribute.
That's a good way to put it.
And they also talk about the importance of integrating diverse knowledge systems.
Okay.
Like indigenous wisdom, for example.
Which makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, especially when so much traditional knowledge is being lost.
It's true,
Yeah, these cultures have been living in harmony with nature for centuries.
Yeah.
We have so much to learn from them.
It's about recognizing that there are many ways of knowing and understanding the world.
Exactly. And by bringing those perspectives together, we can create more holistic solutions.
I like that it's not about imposing a single right way.
No,
It's
really.
about embracing diversity.
Yeah, the richness of human experience.
Okay, but I gotta be honest, when I saw them talking about quantum interconnectedness on the website,
Mm.
my brain kind of, I don't know, short-circuited a little.
It's a mind-bending concept,
It is.
but essentially what it suggests is that everything in the universe is connected.
Okay, I'm following so far.
Yeah.
But how does quantum physics,
Right.
how does that relate to being a planetary citizen?
Okay, so think of it this way.
Okay.
If we really internalize this idea that we're all interconnected,
Yeah.
that our actions, no matter how small,
Yeah.
they have ripple effects throughout the web of life, it changes our sense of responsibility.
Okay.
It's not so much about saving the planet.
I see.
It's more about recognizing that we are part of the planet.
We are the planet.
Yeah. And that our well-being, it's inseparable from the well-being of the Earth.
So instead of seeing ourselves as separate from nature,
Right.
we start to understand that we're all part of this delicate, interconnected ecosystem.
Exactly.
And that realization, that could be incredibly motivating.
Absolutely.
It could change the way we live, the choices we make.
It could inspire us to treat the Earth with more respect, more reverence.
It sounds like Planetary Citizens is encouraging a pretty radical shift in perspective.
It is. It's a shift away from a human-centric view
Yeah.
towards a more eco-centric one.
And that shift, that could be really empowering.
It can lead to a deeper sense of purpose, a deeper sense of connection.
I can see that.
Yeah,
But it's one thing to talk about shifting perspectives. It's
Yeah.
another to actually do it.
absolutely.
So I'm really curious to dig into this planetary citizenship in practice section
You too.
and see what kind of concrete actions they suggest.
Yeah, let's see how they bring all this to life.
This is getting exciting. It feels like we're just scratching the surface here.
I think you're right.
There's so much more to explore with planetary citizens.
Definitely. And I have a feeling the best is yet to come.
So we've talked harvesting the past
Yeah.
and using AI for these philosophical deep dives. But let's get practical here.
Okay.
What does this planetary citizenship in practice actually look like?
Right.
Am I thinking to-do lists,
Yeah.
composting tips, DIY solar panel tutorials, maybe?
I mean, they have stuff like that,
Okay.
but it's not just like a checklist, of
Yeah.
eco-friendly actions.
Right.
It's more about how do you weave these principles into every part of your life?
Okay.
Remember that prompt about shifting from scarcity to abundance?
Yeah.
Well, one thing they suggest is supporting local businesses,
Okay.
farmers markets, that kind of thing.
I see.
It's a simple act, but it builds community resilience.
Right. Right.
And it really challenges that globalized food system, the one that prioritizes profit over sustainability.
So it's about being mindful of where our resources come from and how our choices impact others, even in small ways.
Exactly. It's like a ripple effect.
Right. Right.
And they get pretty radical, too, with some suggestions.
Oh.
Like they challenge us to rethink our whole relationship with work.
Okay.
What if, instead of chasing that high-paying job
Yeah.
that drains us, that contributes to a system we don't believe in,
Mm-hmm.
what if we focused on finding work that aligns with our values?
That's a tough question,
It is.
especially these days.
But it makes you think, right?
Yeah.
About how our careers, they can either perpetuate harmful systems
Yeah.
or they can help create positive change.
It's not just what we do, it's why we do it.
Exactly.
And that ties back to another one of those conversation starters
All right.
about integrating diverse knowledge systems,
Mhm.
including indigenous wisdom.
They highlight some really cool examples
Oh,
of indigenous communities that have been practicing sustainable land management for centuries.
wow.
Their traditional knowledge, it offers so many insights
Yeah.
into how to live in balance with nature.
Something we desperately need to relearn.
I think so.
It's recognizing that the answers might already be out there
Yeah.
in the wisdom of those who've lived close to the earth for generations.
That's a powerful idea.
Speaking of power, we were talking about quantum interconnectedness earlier.
Right.
I'm still wrapping my head around that one.
I hear you.
But how does Planetary Citizens, how do they bring that down to Earth?
So they suggest practices like mindfulness,
Okay.
meditation,
Mm-hmm.
things that can help us tap into that sense of interconnectedness,
Yeah.
but on a personal level. you
I
know.
see.
And they also encourage exploring what they call eco-spirituality.
Eco-spirituality.
Yeah, it's about recognizing the inherent sacredness of nature.
So it's more than just changing our actions.
It's about cultivating awareness, a deeper awareness of our connection to the web of life.
And when we feel that connection,
Yeah,
we're more likely to act with compassion, care.
exactly. For ourselves and for the planet.
They're saying that this shift in consciousness, it's essential for real change.
It's fundamental.
It's about recognizing that we're not just individuals on separate stages, right?
Yeah.
We're all participants in this grand interconnected dance.
That's beautiful. I like that.
And it reminds me of another point they make about the importance of conscious dialogue.
You really emphasize that.
Engaging in open and honest conversations about these complex issues.
Even when it's uncomfortable.
Especially when it's uncomfortable.
Breaking out of our echo chambers.
Yeah.
Being willing to listen to perspectives that challenge our own.
That kind of dialogue, I mean, that can be transformative.
For individuals, for society as a whole.
It helps us move beyond polarization.
Yeah.
Find some common ground.
Especially crucial in our current climate.
It feels like everyone's just shouting their opinions online these days.
Right. From their own little corner of the internet.
But Planetary Citizen seems to be offering a different path.
A more thoughtful path.
One that's grounded in listening, empathy.
And a willingness to bridge those divides.
And they offer practical suggestions, too.
Yeah, like hosting community dialogues, facilitating workshops, even using social media.
In a more constructive way.
Yeah, to share information, spark meaningful conversations.
So it's about moving beyond passive consumption.
Right.
And actively engaging.
Creating a more informed, more compassionate world.
But are there any real-world examples of this?
Of people actually putting these principles into practice.
Yeah,
absolutely. They have a whole section on their website showcasing stories of planetary citizens in action.
So real people doing real things.
Yeah, like there's this eco-village in Scotland.
Oh, wow.
Called the Findhorn Foundation.
Findhorn Foundation.
They've been practicing ecological and spiritual living for over 50 years.
50 years. That's amazing.
It's incredible. What are they doing there?
Well, they've developed these innovative ways to grow food.
Okay.
In a pretty harsh climate, they use renewable energy, and they've created a really, really sustainable and harmonious community.
So it's proof that it's possible.
It's a real-world example of what can happen.
When people come together with this shared commitment.
Yeah, to planetary citizenship.
It's like a beacon of hope.
Yeah.
Showing that a different way of life isn't just possible.
Right.
It can thrive.
And they're not alone.
Oh,
There's so many other initiatives happening all over the world.
Like what?
Urban farms, community gardens.
I see.
Businesses adopting ethical practices.
What?
It's happening everywhere.
So Planetary Citizens is kind of like a hub?
Yeah, they connect these initiatives, amplify their impact.
It's like they're weaving this tapestry.
Of interconnectedness.
Bringing people together.
Communities, organizations.
Yeah.
All working towards a common goal.
I'm feeling really inspired right now. I am too.
But before we get too carried away, I want to bring it back down to earth.
Okay.
What are some small steps, things our listeners can do today?
To start embodying these principles.
Yeah, where do we even begin?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
And I think it leads us perfectly into a deeper dive.
Okay.
Into some of their specific recommendations.
Good.
And resources.
We've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive. AI companions, indigenous wisdom, quantum physics, even eco-villages.
It's been a journey.
It has. But now I want to bring it back to you, the listener.
Okay.
What can you do with all of this? It's easy to get inspired.
Right.
But where do you actually begin?
Well, Planetary Citizens really gets that,
Yeah.
That taking action is key. They're not just about these big ideas. They're about putting things into practice.
So how do we do that?
They suggest starting small.
Okay.
Focusing on what they call micro shifts in your daily life.
Micro shifts.
Yeah, like think about all those little choices we make every day.
Yeah.
Without even thinking about them.
Like
instead of grabbing that plastic water bottle, choose a reusable one.
Okay.
Instead of mindlessly scrolling through social media.
I'm guilty of that.
We all are.
Yeah.
Have a conversation with someone about these ideas.
Okay, so bring it into the real world.
Exactly. Even something as simple as walking or biking instead of driving.
Makes a difference.
It all adds up.
I like that.
Yeah, it's about bringing that mindfulness, that intentionality to every part of your life.
Not about being perfect.
No.
Just making conscious choices.
That align with your values.
Okay, but what if you're ready for more?
More than just micro shifts.
Yeah, what if you want to, I don't know, really shake things up?
They have a section for that too.
Oh.
What they call macro actions.
Okay, tell me more.
This where it gets really interesting.
Right.
They encourage people to get involved in community initiatives, start their own projects.
Wow.
Even run for office.
Run for office. That's next level.
It is. But their argument is, if we want real systemic change, we need people in positions of power who are committed to these principles.
That's a good point.
And they even offer resources to support people who are considering taking that step.
That's amazing. They're really thinking big picture.
They are.
Not just individual actions, but changing society.
Yeah, transforming the whole system.
But I imagine for some people, even thinking about those macro actions can feel overwhelming.
It's a lot.
It is. Where do you even begin to tackle issues like climate change?
Right.
Or social injustice?
That's where collective efficacy comes in.
Collective efficacy.
Planetary Citizens really stresses that we don't have to do it all alone.
We can't do it alone.
Exactly. Real change happens when people come together.
Yeah.
When they share their resources, their skills, their passion.
It's like that saying, right? If you want to go fast, go alone. Yeah.
If you want to go far, go together.
I love that.
It's about tapping into that collective power.
Right.
Recognizing that our actions, combined with others, can create real change.
A force greater than any one of us could create on our own.
It's beautiful, and it brings us back to that interconnectedness again.
It's all circle.
We really are all in this together.
And when we act from that understanding, well, amazing things can happen.
This has been an incredible journey.
It has.
And I gotta say, I'm feeling pretty fired up.
I am too.
Ready to take action.
Yeah, and remember, it's not about reaching some perfect state of, planetary citizenship.
Right.
It's about constantly learning, growing, evolving. It's a lifelong journey.
A journey of conscious connection.
And compassionate action.
Well said. So, as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave you with a final thought.
Okay.
What kind of world do you want to create? What kind of ancestor do you want to be?
Those are big questions. They are.
But powerful ones.
And remember, even the longest journey starts with a single step.
So take that step.
Let's create a world we can be proud of.
A world worthy of future generations.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
It was a pleasure.
We hope you found it insightful, inspiring, and maybe even a little life-changing.
Hopefully.
Until next time, keep diving deep.
Keep asking questions.
Keep making those micro shifts.
That add up to a more beautiful
and sustainable world.
For all of us.